Welcome, paranormal enthusiasts, to this week's episode of Creepin It Reel, here on the Coast to Coast Entertainment Network, where everyone comes for their paranormal fix. Real people, real stories, in real time. So glad you could join us for some ghostly gab. I'm your host, Eleanor Wagner.
Hello, all. As always, I appreciate you hitting the subscribe tab, follow button, or show app on your podcast of choice. Everybody give a hello shout out to our coast to coast techie, Crispy Bacon. He'll be working hard tonight to help us run smoothly. Just wanted to give you a heads up. I put the live viewer comments on for anybody who wants to send in a comment to tonight's guest. Please feel free to do so. Tonight's guest started his paranormal group during the pandemic in October 2020. His fascination with all things ghostly began in the 90s when his house's broken doorbell chimed the night his grandfather passed away. Join me in welcoming Scaredy Cat Paranormal's ghost cowboy, Sean Flynn.
Hi, Eleanor.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate you coming.
You're welcome. This is good. This is cool.
Well, for those of you outside in the audience, Sean and I are not unknown to one another. We actually have done some paranormal investigating together, and he's quite the investigator. He gets some really good evidence, and he has some really good equipment, and we have done some joint investigations, and I really enjoy spending time with him and thought it would be fun to have him on the show tonight. So I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's definitely, I do enjoy investigating with you and your team. You guys are fun. It's really...
Thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Mm.
Well, I usually ask guests to pick out 3 locations that they've gone to that warranted some really great evidence that they'd like to share with the people who tune in. And one of the first ones that you had picked was the Peachfield Plantation. And Chris is going to put a picture up for the viewers. Picture credit is Jerry and Roy Klotz from Maryland. The building was built in 1725. This lovely historic building is located in West Hampton Township, Burlington County, New Jersey, and it was given its name by John Skeen, the first Freemason resident who owned the 300-acre property, even though peaches were never grown there. When he passed, the Henry Burr family purchased it. After the Burrs, the Clark family took ownership until a 1928 fire roared through the home. In 1931, the Harkers purchased it in the hope of preserving it. So, Sean, why go there for a paranormal investigation? Is it known to be haunted?
Actually, yes. The Peachfield Plantation just recently opened up to investigations this past year. I reached out to them, and they set up the date which we went, which was September 16th. No, that was that's the 21st.
The 21st.
Let me double check here.
That's okay. It's not. It doesn't matter when you went. It's the fact that you did go.
Yeah, it went there. Yeah, so I was glad. So, but yeah, we went there, and Director Caroline, she gave us a tour of the place. We had a total of 10 people with us, 10 investigators, and actually, investigators and two friends, a friend of ours went. Yeah, no, it's a beautiful. I mean, the history behind it down there, especially Burlington, New Jersey, West Hampton. They have Revolutionary War to Underground Railroad to New Jersey was a slave-owning state, but yeah, no, we went there. Broken kind of like in broken groups. I went upstairs with actually me and James. James Maders from War Party Paranormal. He's the
Hmm.
co-founder of it. So he lives up by us. So I've been getting a chance to work with him, and which will work on Saturday. But yeah, we definitely is a new place, kind of game plan where you want to start. So
Well, you had said that it's a really, really big building too, right? It's enormous. There's so much room to
oh,
spread around.
yeah, there is from the hearth room to the dining room. They had a big basement upstairs, a couple of one room was open. All the rooms weren't open yet because we had a bigger group, so we really couldn't go into it, especially in the attic. But yeah, my gut was saying the upstairs main bedroom. I wanted to go by that, and that did definitely not disappoint because um, I use, let's say, my necrophonic app. It's like a spirit box. This
Hmm.
is that for me, it's a little easier to understand, and I use also the spirit talker. But what I caught was when I was recording, do my necrophonic session. I gotta get out of here.
Is that the clip that you brought with you tonight?
Uh, yeah,
You said it was a disembodied voice that
yeah.
you brought.
This is my voice. Yeah, this is my
Yeah.
voice.
Hey, you're sensitive to spirit too, though, aren't you? Like you have a natural born sensitivity, right?
Yeah, empath. Yes. So
Hmm.
sometimes it's like sometimes when I want it, I can shut on and off, but sometimes when I need it, it doesn't work. Sometimes it's like
Yep.
least expected. But um, yeah, and when I figure with that is that what happens is that like every place we investigate, they're wondering like these people there wondering like, who we are, like what are we doing there? It's like it's like who are these strangers in my house?
Mm.
But yeah,
And when that happens, do you tell them? Do you say why you're there and explain who you are? And
Everywhere we go, to always explain, introduce ourselves. We're here to talk to you. Don't any harm.
sure.
To respect your house like that. Like my thing is about I want to get to know them better, and I want to know how kind of like a lot of it is like especially with the spirit boxes we use this, it's like pieces of puzzles. You get hints here and there and kind of put them together. So yeah, that that was actually that was the best one. Also, we had I had code devices. I had my millimeter out one part because there was a child entity that was downstairs. So the, a little bit, we got a couple of cold spots, but I know other people experience something differently. But with me, I think that disembodied voice. Also, my other investigator, Arnie, got something down in the basement too. So
Really?
yeah, so
What
it
did he
was
get?
same thing. Please leave. He
Oh,
got
really?
yeah.
Wow. So they felt like you guys were intruding on their territory, huh?
Yeah. Until they get used to people being there like that, or um, the things that would John Burr, his grave was somewhere buried on the property. They don't know where it is because
Oh,
there's
they
a
don't.
country club, there's a golf course there. They don't know where he is, but possibly I would say it could have been him. But like I say, you always kind of like next time we go there, kind of home onto that and try to figure out because you too like experience that. Sometimes you get spiritual traffic. Everybody wants to chime in, so you have to kind of like pick, to
Yeah.
you best kind of figure things out.
Well, let's let Chris put on that footage
Sure.
from the disembodied voice that we were just talking about.
Is there anybody here?
I'm not hearing it, Chris.
Is there anybody here?
There you go. Yeah, I always wonder, why is it so friggin' low? It must be that they just don't have the energy to.
It does that. So I use actually wave pad on my my it's like audio enhancing. I use that to yes, it's really low, and I do let people know I posted, like, it's actually really low, so I hear
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
Yeah, but so sometimes
It's there, but it's low.
yeah, it's low. Just like I didn't catch it first, and I'm like, whoa, actually I caught something like that. It was there, but that was yeah, I was happy with that.
Oh yes, I would be. That's for sure. I mean, when we catch them like that, regardless of the um, the volume, you're still happy that you got it because they're trying to get the energy up to be able to at least communicate with you. So you're happy with anything that you get.
Yeah.
You went to Letchworth Village, which is in Rockland County, and Chris is going to put a picture up there. I've been meaning to get over there myself. PC credit to Doug
That's
Kerr from Albany, New York, by the way.
my stomping grounds.
Oh, is it? Oh, gosh. Letchworth Village was a residential institution for the people out here who are listening in Rockland County, New York, built for mentally disabled people of all ages. It opened its doors in 1911, and this enormous structure consisted of over 130 buildings, was reported to have improper care and treatment of its residents, including children. Accounts surfaced of residents being found unclothed, unbathed, and horribly neglected. And the facility gained national attention when it was exposed by reporter Geraldo Rivera in 1972. It is no surprise that it's haunted. So while at Letchworth, you caught a mysterious tall figure on camera. And you said apparently there were rumors about it, but you didn't know about it for some time, and you frequented the basement there alone many times before. I want you in a minute to explain that to the listeners. I had somebody, Jason Stanton, God rest his soul, he's passed away since, but he would share some information with me on his prior investigations. And this was one of his favorite places to go. And he got a great photo of an apparition at the end of a hallway. So you say you frequented the basement, not knowing that this tall being was down there. And now that you know, do you go back and go in the basement alone or no?
No, I've gone, I say, past 3 years here and there. Yeah, I just go basement. Like, number one rule, you're not supposed to go anywhere by yourself.
Right.
Just for safety reasons. But yeah, uh, the business is pretty big, and the one section I went into, and I go all the time. Um, yeah, I will not go to basement myself again. I've had experience in the basement. I'm fine, and all of a sudden, I hear, once I heard shuffling one end of the basement, and my equipment's going off next to me, and I just, like, part of me is like, I gotta go. I have
Mm.
when I get that bad feeling because um Dr. Charles Little was the director after Mr. Letchworth died. Charles Little took over, and he classified people feeble-minded, um, retarded, and it was no word to use. So I don't believe in um, provoking, but
Mm-hmm.
I have mentioned, like, when we went with Mike and Joe from Warport Paranormal, and they came up. So I met them, and that day in the basement, I threw game EVPs, angry EVPs. I provoked it, kind of like, I basically said, "I'm here to remove you, Little, for way you treated, and you got a explicit EVP from yelling at us, cursing at us." Um,
Who do you think it was? Do you think it was the doctor, or do you think it
yeah,
was just
yeah,
a?
it was. I think it's him. I mean,
Mm.
we've got. I think the same like that because, um, I've been with different people there, different experiences. Some people say that somebody's holding the patients back. Um, yeah, definitely because Joe got EVP of like people running down the hallway screaming, and
Really?
that's because they reacted them to react to them. They were new, they're kind of fresh to energy. I've been all
Right.
the time, so yeah, it was really definitely. And then the big thing was that they caught by another room right by those like a solid confinement room. Those rooms with one door in it, one like small window in it. Um, Something long and tall, long
Mm.
arms and tall in the basement. One of their team members saw it. I'm like, that's not good. I go there all the time. This thing's probably watching me. They caught thermal imaging, something moving down, something going across the hallway. So this get chills. Think about it. I walk in there like couple areas to walk through, like go to the basement, like, hi everybody, I'm here, and I don't need this today. Make my way upstairs to the second to the floor.
Mm.
But yeah, it's definitely it's a big place. It's a
So you brought
big
this footage with you today. Does that depict the tall being that you saw in the basement?
yeah.
Oh, it does. Okay, Chris, why don't you run that so we can see it since we were just talking about it? Very cool. Does he create those videos?
Actually, Mike is friend Mike Chris. Yeah,
That was good. I like that.
that's really yeah.
Yeah,
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 so
yeah.
that's what was done. That's what lives in the basement. And with that, I think from all the pain, suffering, sadness,
Oh,
hurt,
yeah.
I think that's what was created from that, like that,
So you think that this thing was created from all that pain and
yeah, I
suffering?
mean, it closed in 1996, but besides all the years from like the late 20s until then, all the energy in there, and I've been there, was quiet. Um, they checked, stopped by some doing and left like that. I would say my most memorable one is the smell of perfume,
Hmm.
like a nurse's perfume upstairs once. But yeah, I've yeah, that's pretty freaky. I mean, I know when people go there, I know like the hot spots, but I won't tell them. So I kind of don't want them to experience a little like that. But yeah, I mean, it blows your mind. It's kind of look around and see how it would be back, back in the 30s and 40s and 50s, how the hospital ran. There were
What's the condition of the building now?
um I would. Some parts of the hospital are not so good. The basement's okay, but like the one part of actually it's not too bad. The one section is kind of like crumbling, like the roof's kind of falling, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not. I wouldn't. I mean, I mean anything like that could be dangerous like that, but there's open elevator shaft there.
Oh, we
Uh,
gotta be careful with that.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, there's I mean, there's no building I've been to or clinic that the basement is full of asbestos water, which is you know that's a no. But
Sure.
yeah, and there's a lot of buildings there. They have the old dormitories there. Actually, the one administrative building that caught on fire like years ago. Um, all that's left is the basement, but that part I wouldn't recommend.
No.
Yeah, you always got to be careful with these places like that. But
Yeah. Yeah. You never know what to expect or
now I was noticed quick stories that I went to the old power plant and I was upstairs on the second floor and I left angry. Something upstairs in that part was bad mojo. I left angry.
Hmm.
I left angry. I said I will never step in that building again. I've been a couple times by myself. Never.
So it affected you,
Yeah,
your emotions.
yeah. Some bad stuff going on. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm sure it comes and goes, or just kind of lingers there. It's kind of waits around and sees who's going to come by.
Yeah. And then it kind of like attaches itself.
Uh, yeah, you can say that. Yeah, you can say that. It ties yourself, it ties itself to you for a few minutes like that, and kind of like I mean, after I saged myself.
Right. That's smart.
I mean, that's what I said.
'Cause-
I mean, I call Letchworthville like the train facility because a good way to kind of to get started in paranormal. Investigate and go there.
Mhm. Well, you were going to talk to me about the Rockport train wreck, which is really funny because you said you found out about it from reading it in my book.
Yeah, yeah.
And I actually found out about it by somebody who was local to me, who knew I wrote these books and said to me, "Oh, you should check out the Rockport train wreck." Now, this Rockport train wreck I knew nothing about. And when I looked into it, I found out it occurred in Rockport and Mansfield Township, New Jersey on June 16th, 1925. The picture here is from my own stash because I took a shit ton of pictures when we've been there like 6 times. But it happened during a violent thunderstorm where washed debris went onto the track, derailing the train. And the crash killed 42 passengers and 5 crewmen and injured 23 others. A lightning strike hit a local lumber yard, consuming it in its entirety while townspeople struggled to keep it under control. And while this was happening over on Hazen Road and the Rockport Crossing, water washed dirt and gravel onto the track, causing the locomotive to derail. One of its cars coming to rest across the rear of the boiler, causing the ripped valves and steam fittings from the boiler to allow superheated steam to spray into the broken windows of the passenger cars, fatally scalding those trapped inside. So their death was just awful, awful. They actually dubbed that car the death car. And as I mentioned, I wrote about the Rockport train wreck back in 2021 in my Warren County Hauntings and Other Strange Phenomena book. After my team and I did several investigations at the location, uncovering an enormous amount of evidence. I actually used the location for my book cover, and Chris is going to put it up for everybody to see. For a long while, the location was overgrown with weeds and stuff, and nobody even knew that it actually existed there. And then this young college student who lived in that area, who knew about it, decided to do I guess it was his thesis, Sean, on the train wreck and its history and the story. And he actually gathered his family members together to bring them over to the location. And they cleared the whole thing out. And it's because of him that
Wow.
they have this memorial there now where they have that signage there that you can push the button and it tells you about what happened. So it's because of him that they have this memoriam there. But when we went there the very first time, I got to tell you, it was crazy because we were walking on the tracks just trying to see if we could connect with spirit. And all of a sudden we hear that signage go ding, 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 and the lights go off when they warn you that a train is coming.
Wow.
So we're all women there that day. We all jump off the tracks going, wait, there's a train coming, there's a train coming. And we're waiting for this train to come and no train comes. And then we just realized, oh, maybe that's spirit trying to connect to us. So the mediums who were present said, if you're trying to use the lights and the bells to connect with us, please go ahead and do so. I have to tell you, 6 times while we were there,
Wow, it's great.
this
Wow.
happened.
Well,
In fact, the last one was so interactive because we had said, thank you so much for sharing your time with us and telling us your story. We appreciate it. And in response to that, it dinged and went wild again. So it was really, really convincing to me that we were connecting with spirit through that. But the mediums were hearing screams and help. And my team medium, Jackie Hangley, she had actually gotten names that we eventually pulled out of the original manifest to confirm that she had the actual people's name who we were connecting to in this spirit communication. And we connected with an engine employee who guards the track, who wants to keep it safe. I think he may have actually been the one who ran across the field to try and get help in one of the homes there. And when he made it back, he actually collapsed and died from his own injuries. We got a steam engine train. I mean, you know, when you got your audio going and you're trying to connect with spirit, we'd gone back there another time trying to get the lights to communicate with us. And we were concentrating on that during the audio and not really knowing what was going on until they listened to it afterwards. They heard this locomotive. You know how it goes? That's what we hear on the audio. And it's like, oh my God, to me, that's residual. That's residual haunting.
now is that live track? Is that
Oh,
track
I don't know.
live?
I don't know.
Because
I know it's not. I know it's not a passenger rail anymore. I know it's just a freight rail.
Because I remember I was there. I think first time I was there. No, it was second time I was there. I thought I heard a train in the distance. I'm like, okay, train be coming. Heard it twice. I'm like, okay, what's I'm like, I'm like, what's going on here? Like
You were probably hearing the residual. You were probably hearing it like what came up on the audio. Another time when we went there, the mediums that were with me actually, when I feel like I have to take a picture, I'll take a picture, and then oftentimes if I go back and look, I'll find something in the picture. Well, this is what some of the mediums do as well. When they feel like there's something there, they take a picture, and we got a photograph. Well, it's not. It's dark, but you can very vaguely see 5 figures walking like
really
this way across down the track. Yeah, it's really it's very
that's awesome.
Very active site over there. It's no wonder, considering the awful accident, but it doesn't surprise me that you would go there, because I had the feeling like, oh God, I got to go check it out, because if I'm going to write about it, I want to visit the site. And I was so glad that I did, because it warranted so much stuff happening that we went back there so many times.
Yeah, I was there too. It's a beautiful location. I got I remember my spirit talker. I remember saying that, I guess it wasn't my fault. Like that, some words like kind of like geared towards that.
Yeah.
When Mark and I was setting up by the tracks, and it sounded like somebody stepped on there's a piece like a plastic box here, and it sounded like we heard him. Like, you hear that? We thought we sounded like someone stepped on him. Like, do you hear that? I was like, yeah, I heard it. It was weird like that. It was just so weird. I'm like that. Not much on like the equipment wise. We more has cameras, but yeah, it's just yeah. I actually think about it. It was weird. Like yeah, I thought I heard a train coming. Like in the distance, you hear a train from the distance like that. And wait,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, what train? I
But
expected.
clearly, like when we had it on audio, you're not going to hear the steamship train anymore. You're not going to hear the ch-ch-ch-ch-ch and the toot because that's not the way they sound anymore. So that's how it was confirmation to me that it had to have been residual from 1925 and the locomotive. That's the locomotives that were used back at that time. You know.
Now I wonder because there were power lines there, and my EMF. I got crazy. Well, I was going to I got crazy EMF readings from power lines. So I was thinking, do you think could that kind of like fuel it a little bit?
The energy, it's
Yeah,
possible. It's
like
possible. I
you
can't.
know, I ruled it out in case
Yeah. Yeah.
I put my devices closer, maybe that affected, but it didn't infect it. But yeah, that was yeah, I didn't we getting any photo wise like that, but it's hit and miss. You know, like when you guys go there, it's a lot there. But yeah, nobody. I don't think anybody knows about that. You know, I don't
No.
think everybody investigated. I'm like, well, it's pretty cool.
I wrote about it. I wrote about it in Weird New Jersey too, because
Yeah.
somebody else was writing the story about the wreck itself, and so he used my submission of what we unearthed during our investigations. So I mean, people know about it. You know, we're reading about it, but I guess that's really about it. I don't know. I'm sure there are people just like yourself who are going to read about it and say, "Oh, I got to go check it out."
I mean,
So
I like as well. I in between places nobody knows about. You know, I know
yeah.
nobody like that. No, it was definitely. I mean, I forget. There's another wreck. I was reading it on my phone somewhere. There's another train wreck. It was in Jersey? Was it? Yeah, there's another place in Jersey. Another train wreck there was. But yeah, well, that's a good story. I didn't know that some college kid saved it. Otherwise, you would never know it was there. That's wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was so thrilled to read about that he did that. But yeah, the memorial was there, but it was hidden and overgrown. And so he went and like I said, cleared out the whole area and put up this signage thing that they have there that we push the button and they tell you the whole story. And so now it's actually known to people that they can go and visit it if they wanted it to pay their respects and so on and so forth. But before that, no.
Wow.
And Rockport is kind of like a hidden gem too. No one really knows about it.
No,
It's
I
just
mean,
it's there.
New
And
Jersey, New Jersey isn't really that big, but there's a lot of small towns.
yeah,
I mean, I've
yeah.
been to I guess you heard the cave grave in Newton.
Yeah, the one with the children in it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wrote about that in my book too.
yeah.
The underground tunnels. Yeah,
Yeah, that was interesting. I have to go back again. That was interesting. I read an article for somebody who
well,
wrote about that.
you know that's not the only opening where those children became trapped and they sealed it off because they never made it out alive. That's not the only location. They're all over the entire county. If you read the chapter on my underground tunnel chapter,
I read again.
and they have a lot of them sealed up as they're exposed, but there are a lot of openings still in the old Spring Street buildings and homes down in the basements. In fact, the
Oh
fire
yeah. Okay.
firehouses know about them and have access to them. And I think it's kind of like when they get a newbie on the force, they'll go, "You want to go see the caves?" And they bring them down to the tunnels to see the underground tunnels,
Wow.
which is something I would just love. I would just love to be able to
I
go.
know. That would be. I would like pulling a miracle to
Yeah.
get that.
But these underground tunnels are all over Sussex County and the surrounding counties. I mean, they extended to Passaic County and Morris County, and I'm sure a lot of them were used in the Underground Railroad when in during that time frame in history. So
I was talking to a local. I was there. He said like the whole Newton was like a big. railroad town, industrial. Railroad became in for the trade. So that that the whole area, like I say, that area is so from like Hibernia mines to like everywhere there was back in the day. That was like a lot of industrial stuff like that. A lot of that's where it was where it was.
Yeah. Yeah. And with that comes all the history and the stuff that goes with it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I went to I don't know if you've been to the Hibernia. I see the Hibernian mines. It's called
Yes.
it's called Andover. You've been there, right? And the
Yeah.
Andover uh, uh, tunnel. It's where they had the those sealed up now for the bats.
Yeah. Yeah.
That that was one time I went there once a couple times. One time I actually heard somebody inside using one of those axes like that.
Really. There's a
And
lot of residual hauntings going on over there. People working, drinking, socializing, getting on with their day in history in the spirit world.
yeah, so I used the necrophonic, and I was reading the history. There were Irish and Hungarian workers, and I got a necrophonic, a Hungarian word, which I understood what it was.
Really?
I mean, I'll listen like that. Like, that's what I do. I got at least like listen 3-4 times. You try to get the exact word with saying like that. But yeah, no, I definitely. I went there with another friend, Sherry from Out Ghosted, and we were doing it even time, and it sounded like someone was kicking rocks from above us, down us, like pebbles. Like, like, do you hear that? I'm like, that's pretty
Trying to
crazy.
get your attention.
Yeah.
I went with Richie Michella and his team.
Oh, that's what I saw. That I saw that. Was that last year or was that before year before?
No, this is going back. I want to say it was like 2019, 2020, somewhere around there.
Okay.
And we went check out the Bat Cave and the mine and the local cemetery over there. We spent like the whole day.
Yep, up on the hill.
Yeah. And he brought whiskey with him so that he could whiskey and cigarettes so that he could actually use them as enticements for spirit to communicate, which was cool because it was a great tool and a great conversation starter, I guess would be the best way to describe it.
Yeah, I mean, actually, definitely have to like I know Saturday I use the Singapore method. I'm gonna think about using kind of playing kind of like funeral music on my iPad.
Oh,
Kind of,
okay.
Cause last time we were there last year, Donna was there for a public event from Full Moon Paranormal. I did the ST because part of it was an old where the porches was part of the old tavern. I got touched.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm like, well, yeah, it freaked me out for a second, but
trying to get your attention.
Yeah. That's a good thing. I usually, let's just say, if you give permission to touch you, but actually, that's the only. That's when did I touch? I got touched. I think it was Peachfield too. It was Peachfield. No, it wasn't Peachfield. I think it was West Hill Manor last year. I did. Yeah.
I was doing a cemetery walk with my kid. We were doing a cemetery walk with my kid, and she got her hair pulled and her jacket tugged. Freaked her out.
I say everybody experiencing different like that. We
Yeah.
get a big group, 5 of us together. One person gets touched by something, but yeah, definitely. That's another thing too. Is that Underground Railroad that really hasn't. That's a whole different subject. That hasn't really been kind of like investigated.
Yeah.
I know. I think down to Burlington, there's a Underground Railroad museum.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I read. Yeah. So
what's on your agenda for the months ahead? What do you have planned?
Oh, Saturday we have the Patchett House. Then next last event is at December 9th at West Hill with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
In between one, yeah, basically in between places. I know there's in Fairfield, Connecticut, there's a little hospital that you can get inside to. I've seen some people have been into it. Um, but
Hospitals are pretty active
yeah, kind of
because
like.
they could probably use a cleansing and a saging consistently on a regular basis.
I mean, it's
So
funny. It's funny. I see explorers on it. Some explorers find these crazy places. I'm like, how'd you find these places? You know, little hospitals. Like, I think Connecticut has um. I remember Connecticut. You ever heard of the Seaside Sanatorium? That's in Norwich. I think it's Norwich. It's 2 hours away. An old sanatorium by the actually a Long Island Sound. 2 years ago, we stopped by there to look at it.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I think they're gonna. Red bad they're gonna tear it down like that. But yeah, like what place I want to go for the end of the year. I guess I start on my list for next year. What places? What places? And definitely again like Peachfield. You know, we bring you guys, go there with you guys. George Taylor House. That's another place.
Oh, George Taylor House.
Yeah, that was a really active. We were upstairs. It was me, James, and Candace. She's like the treasurer of the historic society. We were on upstairs. Everybody was downstairs. We heard someone say hello. We're in the room like, you hear that? We thought it was Candace's husband. It wasn't. Her husband was
Mm,
downstairs. So that was good. That was good.
yeah, I love that.
We were both in a room like we hear that? Yeah, wow, that's pretty
Well, I guess
crazy.
that spirit was happy that you were there.
Yeah.
Greeted
No,
you.
yeah. No, it's yeah. Over there. It's an old Lehigh Valley. Lehigh River was big for trading. You know,
Mm,
so a lot of towns there, the old industrial coal mining towns.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, definitely go there next year again. You gotta go next year. So I write a list down. We're eventually
He's
and look.
getting his list ready already for 2024.
Yeah, no. So like it's always like it's like in between places like that. I mean, man, I do appreciate you inviting me to private homes because I never was kind of like around here. You know, it's kind of like how you approach people. Like for
I don't. They approach me
that's good
because
enough.
of my books.
That's good.
So, and I like to try and help them when I can. Say hi to Fairy Incognito 8, Sean.
Oh
She's
yeah,
tuned
hey Ferry, hey, thanks for watching.
in.
Um, do you know
So
that?
when they reach out to me, I like to try and accommodate them. So I have another one coming up. I'll have to send you the information if you're available and you want to come. You're welcome to join us.
Yeah, there's you heard the story or the haunted house law about the house in Nyack, New York. That was haunted. There's a
No.
house in Nyack. I'll send a link too. And it was a haunted house active. The people who sold it to another couple didn't tell them that it was active.
Mm.
So I got to find it. I'll send it to you. There's a law about that. The haunted house.
I know every state is different. I know, like Connecticut, my friend Jen, she just sold her house in Connecticut, and it was one of the most haunted houses in that area. And she's been on like every show there ever was because of it. And exposed that it was haunted to the people who bought it, so that they wouldn't be able to come back and say anything to her. But every state is different. Some states require you to release that information, and others don't even. So
Yeah, cause I work in Rockland County in actually Nyack. for the town. So I've seen the house. It's like we one day we had to work by. It's right there. It's nobody lives in it, but it has had a couple owners in the past, like
Mm-hmm.
a couple owners. There's no activity either because it's kind of quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to reach out to the store society, which is unfortunately no, again, no go. But places like it's hard. It's like some places don't want you go in there and stir it up. You know,
I know.
I mean, I would
I hate when they're not openly receptive to it. You got to kind of get with the program. I mean, now this is the way to do things. But there are
especially
some people that are just unmoving and don't want to.
especially museums
Yeah.
untapped territory. So it's like there's an old school, it's an old premise schoolhouse by my parents' house in Ridgewood, New Jersey. Donna went there, looking around, I'm like, do you hear anything weird around here? Lady's like, what do you mean? I mean, spiritual wise, she's like, no, 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 no. I mean, so it's kind of hard, it's kind of hard to do. I mean, for Burn County, it's kind of hard to get into the museums. It's really, really hard. Like,
Yeah.
I've numerous places I've emailed about it, like that. Nah, it's so good. I mean, so when we investigate, I tell everybody three G's: good people, good vibes, and good times. As long as we have that together, like we had an awesome time
Yeah.
over at Burlington. That
No,
was
no
fun.
paranormal drama, just the fun camaraderie, and it's all good.
That was fun. I definitely that was a fun investigation.
Yeah, it
I mean,
was. It was really good.
you guys definitely gonna like West Hill. You really are. I mean, the downstairs basement. I mean, it's the heating system. So I mean, that's part of it. We go like even when you investigate the homes, you always got to factor in like electricity or the
Yeah,
heating like that. So
old pipes.
now, what's the craziest you've ever encountered in investigations?
Well, I think the craziest was the mafia guy house. I think I told you about that one. We all felt it and experienced something when we were there, and we were invited there because the senior citizens that lived in one of the apartments in the manor house were experiencing things that was affecting their moods and their health. They had to actually create a safe room for them to stay in because it was so bad and they couldn't wait to get out. And the turnover in that place was just continuous, people in and out and in and out. And it drew people in that it could create problems for, whether it was health wise or behavioral. And when we were there doing the investigation, not only did we have stuff happen, we also left not feeling right, feeling very heavy and exhausted and depressed. So we literally saged each other outside the building because of that investigation. So to me, that was probably the worst and most uncomfortable one I've ever been on.
Yes, I'd say it's always like 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 Letchworth. If I felt uncomfortable, I'm I'm out. I felt like when you feel like something bad's gonna happen. Like I go yeah, I was by myself by the old morgue, and down the hallway is a little bit dark. I heard a growl down there,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, well, this is the only way I got to get back out. Actually, no, I forgot some upstairs. So I'm like, wait, I have to go back through that upstairs. I have my lights on. Well, actually, the craziest ones too is that Cape Cod. We go over here. That place is loaded with places to investigate. I investigated an old smallpox cemetery. It was in a section. It was like in 1700s. They put the people there away, away from everybody else. So
Mm-hmm.
also in the area was a militia training facility area. So Donna, my parents and my niece, nephew, my sisters were there. They left by myself, middle of the woods. I mean, there's a little path to the road. It was dark, and one part I heard somebody threw like a big rock right by me.
Mm.
I was like, I'm like, oh my god! I stood there. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I figure that's probably from one of the original energy from the when they used to train there back in the 1800s.
Yeah. Could be.
That was I'm like I'm like, oh my god, wow, it's like oof. It's like why I do this? I like it, but why I do this? Like, try and you like figure, all right, the fastest how to get the fastest way out. So I left, had all my lights on, everything, no bright enough, so I'm like, oh my.
Oh
But
my God, that's so funny.
for the first
Um,
for the like say what actually got me going for Scary Cat was we were in Harwich, an old cemetery. We call it First Apparition. I
you know,
I
these cemeteries, you could get some great. The one that you got in Gettysburg, the pilgrim type
no,
one there.
that was the one kick out. That was the one I got. That's the
Oh,
cemetery.
that's what you were talking about. That was
Yeah,
such a good catch. Do you mind if I show that at my
yeah.
presentations and give you
Yeah,
picture
cool.
credit for it?
I had my Canon camera. I just took a picture. The week down, I came back. The house kick out, and we're like, oh my god, what we got? Perfect.
Yeah,
It's like,
that was a great catch.
and I go there every year. I went last 1 year. I thought I saw something. Actually, the 2 years ago, I went. I was in there, and I chills thinking about it. Something ran behind me. I heard someone behind me, and what am I doing this for? But um, quick story that the second year time the cops came. I saw the cops come. They have lights on. I'm like, yeah, no, he's okay. You say they said it's okay with me being there. Somebody saw saw lights in the cemetery. He's like, well, I actually thought it was more than one of you here. I'm like, no, just me. So they're cool about it. It's just like, yeah, it was. Yeah. So I'm like, wow. It's like just that one time, like I say, when our worlds and their worlds kind of cross paths, that's when it happens.
Collide. Yeah, it's amazing how much stuff you can get in a cemetery. They're pretty cool.
It's hit and miss. The one time like that, if that's the only one I ever catch in my lifetime, that's fine with me. That's fine with
And
me because
yeah. Well, listen, Sean, this was really a lot of fun.
it
Thank you
was.
so much
Thank,
for coming
thank you,
on tonight. I
thank you for
really
having
do
me on.
appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Yeah, no,
And I look
definitely.
forward to getting together with you again in December.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
And we'll have lots to talk about after that one.
we will. We will. Yeah. Okay. So thanks, Eleanor. Thanks so much for having me on.
Yes, you're welcome, Sean, and thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
And thank you, Techie Chris. We couldn't do it without you. If you all like listening to this week's episode and you're into all things paranormal, check out my other show, Eleanor Wagner's Strange and Scary World podcast out of the Paranormal UK Radio Network, which is available wherever you get your podcasts. You can watch and listen to the uncut version directly through my Eleanor Wagner YouTube channel as well. If any of you are interested in reading any of my books, you can find them on Amazon, but you can get signed copies directly through me at authoreleanorwagner@gmail.com. I write about the history of the town and location, add the paranormal story to the mix, and finish it all off with photos and evidence. And I'm excited to share that I now have t-shirts available from both my Creepin It Reel podcast and Strange and Scary World podcast. Anyone interested in getting one can email me at authoreleanorwagner@gmail.com. Lastly, viewers, tune in on Thursday, November 23rd at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when Danny and Lauren Radical from Radical Paranormal join me for some ghostly gab. Chris is going to put that picture of them up for you so you can see. And I hope that you'll stay and listen for the song to bring us out tonight. Have a good evening and thanks for joining us.
I hope you've enjoyed this little journey down my own personal nightmare alley. If you're one of those people who experiences the paranormal and has stories of your own you've been filing away over the years, I want to hear about them. And if you're a part of a paranormal investigative team, even better. I'd love to have you on my show. Got a questionable photo? Send it in. Would love to have an open discussion here amongst the professionals. Reach out to me at authoreleanorwagner@gmail.com. Enjoy our soundtrack music, Headless Horseman by Alexander Nakarada, promoted by freestockmusic.com. And remember, no ghost story is better than a real-life ghost story. Until we meet again, make sure you're creeping it real.